What's going on, everybody? Mr. Smith back here. Today I'm going to be talking about how operators are used in Java. So you might be familiar with this term operator from your math class. We have addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. Those are kind of the main operators that we use. And then we also have like order of precedence, how you evaluate parentheses and division and multiplication before addition and subtraction. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about that kind of stuff, but in how it is used in Java. All right, and I'm going to go through a couple of examples, and I'm going to demo the lab that you are working on for operators. All right, so let's jump right into it. So first things first is I have notes up on our class for operators. So please take a look at that. Everything I'm going to go over in this video are in these notes. Just addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. There's an operator called Modulus, which you might not be familiar with. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, increment and decrement, and then a little bit about the assignment operators. All right, and there is a chart in the notes that shows you the precedence, and I'm going to go a little bit into that also in this video. All right, so let's jump right into it. So how do we start a project? Well, we go up here to our gold box with a green plus, and we press that. All right, then we click next. And then we go in here, and I'm going to call this operators YouTube because, well, YouTube video. All right, and remember, we're making an application. So in applications, you leave the main method checked, and you click finish. All right, so I'm going to do some quick cleanup here. I don't need this comment. I don't need my author tag. I don't need this. All right, and again, to do code application logic here, remember guys, this is the recipe for our program. All right, just like if you're baking them biscuits, all right, the procedure that you use to bake the biscuits, the procedure we use to run our program goes in the main method. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit of notes. I'm going to do them up here above the program itself underneath the package. All right, so these are going to be notes on operators. Notes on operators, and I'm going to use the paragraph tag. Oh, sorry, got them mixed up. Paragraph comment tag, and I'm going to type my notes here. All right, so the operators we have in Java, obviously plus sign is addition. All right, then we have our minus sign is subtraction. All right, everybody should know addition and subtraction. All right, star, the asterisk, is multiplication. Then we have our division. All right, then we have this one that's a percent sign, and this is called modulus. And what it actually does is return the remainder. All right, modulus returns the remainder. So for instance, let me just do a quick example. So I'm going to pull up my trusty friend Paint here. Let me go ahead. I'm going to use green. All right. So let's say that I want to do 6 divided into 74, right? So how many times does 6 go into 74? Well, 1 time, right? And then I just subtract. I'm doing just some, division here. Everybody should know about division. All right. And then a 2 times 6 is 12. All right. And I'm left with 2. So my remainder is 2. All right, so what modulus does, if I were to say 74 modded 6, right? Modulus returns the remainder. All right, so I'm actually going to circle that in red. That's orange. Circle it in orange. Modulus returns the remainder, which is 2. All right, so modulus gives you the remainder. It doesn't give you this whole number. All right, every time in life we've been focused on this whole number, but modulus gives you that remainder. All right, so if you ever need to find a remainder of something quickly or a remainder of a bunch of values, you can use this thing called modulus. All right, so we have modulus. We have what's called increment and decrement. All right, this is an increment, so you're adding 1 to a number. All right, then you have decrement, which is subtracting 1 from a number. All right, those are two things that we have. We also have equals. All right, equals is used for assignment operator. We saw that with the variables, right? We said int Smith's age is equals to 32. So we put 32 inside of Smith's age. So equals is an assignment operator. Then we have equals equals. This is actually a relational operator. Checks to see if two things are equal. All right, so if I said if I said 32 equals 32, that would be true. All right, so this actually returns a Boolean. All right, then we have the not. The not flips the sign. Well, hold on, it's called not, and it flips the sign of values. So if something is false, it becomes true. If something is true, it becomes false. All right, so it flips it. So then, of course, we have not equals. All right, not equals, we can say not equals, checks to see if it's not equal. All right, and I'm going to show examples of these here in a second. All right, so I think we've hit most of them. Let me just quickly check my notes. Not, increment, decrement, multiplication, less than. So I'm going to touch more on less than and greater than and less than greater than equals. And this is and or. So I'm going to touch on those in another video called relational operators. All right, so those are more of a relational operator. All right, we also have one more called plus equals. Plus equals and plus equals. Plus equals. This is when you add a value and then store it back in the variable. All right, and I will show you an example of that. All right, so these are the things that I'm going to go through here in our program just to demo them for you. All right, so recipe for our program, we're going to scroll back down to our main method here. So recipe for our program. Well, I want to start with a variable called addition. Cool. And addition is just going to be the addition of two numbers. So maybe I do 25 plus 74, right? Everybody agrees that's an example of how addition works in math. Well, to check it, that it actually works, we just need to print addition. Actually, I'm going to say 25 plus 74, all right, is equal to. So the way that we can do this is we want to attach this variable addition to this string 25 plus 74. And the way we do that is that beautiful thing called concatenation that I showed y'all in the last video. So we use the plus sign and say addition. So now when I run this, let me actually run it. I get 25 plus 74 is equal to 99. Does that hold true? Well, let's check it. So 25 plus 74, 99, holds true. Cool. All right, so let's do an example of subtraction. All right, so int subtraction is equal to, let's do 74 minus 25. You know, keeping it easy. And then I'll say 74 minus 25 is equal to concatenation, subtraction. All right, guys, feel free to pause the video. I know I'm typing fast. So when I run this, I should get 74 minus 25. So 74 minus 25, 49. So when I run my program, I get 49. All right, subtraction works. All right, so I could continue this process, right? I can do multiplication. Multiplication is equal to 5. Let's do big numbers. 540 times 76. Those are pretty big numbers. All right, I'm gonna do this system that out. 540 times 76 is equal to plus multiplication. All right. Well, I need to check that. Where's my calculator? So 520 times 76, 3,520. And I get, uh-oh, did I not do that right in the calculator? Calculator, 520 times 76. Oh, I'm doing 5,200. 520 times 76. 39520. Oh, I did 540 up here, right? Wow. All right, let's run it again. All right, now I get the right number. All right, so multiplication works. All right, so all of that is pretty cool. All right, you can do the same thing with division. What I want to do now is a modulus example. So let's say that I say int modulus is equal to, what was our example in Paint? 74 mod 6 should give me 2. So 74 mod 6, that should give me 2. So let's check it. All right, normally I would do my division here. Now I'm going to do a modulus example. All right, 74 mod 6 is equal to plus modulus. Well, let me run it, and I get 2. All right, so I just proved to you that modulus gives you the remainder. So we have increment and decrement. Increment and decrement are fun because it's like int increment. Or well, let's say int number, right, is equal to 6. Well, now I can say number plus plus, and maybe I want to do that a few times. All right, and then I'll do maybe I'll put a minus minus here and here. All right, so when we track this, right, we start with 6, and the plus plus just adds 1. So this will be 7. This will be 8. Oh, 8. This will take it back down to 7 because it's a minus minus. Then this will take it back up to 8. Then we'll go to 9. And then we go to 10. And then we go back to 9, right? Because it's a minus minus. So if I print out number here, if I print out what number is equal to, it should be 9 after all those increments and decrements. So plus plus increases it by 1, minus minus decreases it. So we start with 6, we go 7, 8, minus 1 is 7, plus 8, plus 9, plus 10, minus 1 is 9. And we get 9. All right, so that's how increment and decrement work. What am I forgetting here? All right, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, increment, decrement, equals. All right, so the way this works is we actually, we do what's called a Boolean. All right, Boolean is true or false. So if I say Boolean equals equals, let's say I say 66 equals 90. All right, so does 66 equal 90? Well, let's check. Out.print, and I can say 66 equals 90. And is that gonna be true or false? Well, 66 does not equal 90, so it should be false. And we get false, right? 66 does not equal 90. So what if I go up here and change this to 90? So does 90 equal 90? It does, so we get true. All right, so I need to go down here and change this to 90 so it looks right. And we get true. All right, so that's how equals equals works. Not equals works the same way. Not equals. So 50 does not equal 5, right? Is that true or false? Well, that's true because 50 does not equal 5. So if I go print it to double check, 50 does not equal 5. Let me just print this to double check. All right, and I get true. All right, so that's how not equals works. So we've done our plus plus, our equals, our not equals, and I guess that's about it, guys. So those are the main operators, all right? We have what's called relational operators, which are used in conditional statements. All right, so I'm gonna make a video later on about that, just kind of touching on the important parts of relational operators. The way that we're gonna wrap this up in class is you're gonna be working on a lab. All right, so the lab looks like this, and you're basically walking through that process I just did. So you're gonna create a new Java file. You're gonna declare two integers. Remember, that's just int, x, int number 1, int number 2. Actually, it tells you to make them x and y. So int x and int y. Then when we assign or initialize, that's when we give them values. You're gonna do some print statements. You're gonna calculate the sum. And then as you're working through this, I want you to actually think about what the code gave you. So if you do like 4 plus 7, does it actually give you 11? All right, and you're gonna work through this. You're gonna do some division, multiplication, product, average, all right? And you're gonna work through this. And when you're done, I just want you to submit this, all right? So just quickly, spending a day or two on operators, and then we're gonna wrap up. All right, so well, that's it for me, guys. I appreciate you coming by and watching the video. Again, there's going to be more in this series, so stay tuned. Feel free to drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.